Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I hope that you're having a sensational one out there. Thank you so much for being here today. We're going to listen to some Choir of Young Believers. We're going to listen to these 3 tracks off their album Grask, which was released in 2016, their third studio album. That's going to be the 3 tracks Olympiski, Serious Lover, and Vassern, which are technically kind of basically one track just split up into 3 different ways here. Split up 3 different ways. There you go. This was suggested and sponsored by Yerky Floor. Yerky Floor, thank you so much for the recommendations. Thank you so much for the suggestions and support as well. I appreciate that. We've listened to a little bit from the band, and now it's time to check out just a little bit more. I can't help but see that with the first track, it just means Olympic, which absolutely makes sense. Looking at the word. Let's go ahead and listen to the tracks. We'll discuss them a little bit after. Here we go. Must be at the Olympics, actually. It's a nice change of pace there in the transition. Sounds like his vocals still, but just pitched down and distorted a bit. I like that kind of synth bass working its way in, very bubbly. I like this cool sound that it has. Atmospherically, it almost sounds like Sade. Those big toms. like an interesting violin or something. Or sax. Slows it down, it's cool.
You're such a serious lover, such a serious lover. Weight of the world on your shoulders and it's bringing down. You're such a serious lover. You're such a serious lover.
Love when that bass fills in with that extra keys behind that. Is that Icelandic? I know the waters are going in and out at the very end here, but I thought that this was a really nice wintry listen with these particular tracks here. Really, it's one track with just a kind of intro and a little outro there. And I like how even the electronic parts of it sounded like a little bit cold. It reminded me in some ways of Massive Attack's 100th Window, in that it has this kind of cold mechanical sound to it, but not overly mechanical, not so much, but just a little bit of that coldness to it, like the cold steel of the machine. But I love how in the chorus itself, like the bass would come in on the second half of it and fill it in with a little heart, a little soul, a little like warmth there, just to give it that little bit of extra oomph. I like the singing as well, like very atmospheric, very light. This is going to sound really weird, but especially in Serious Lover, like the notes, the melodies, the way that everything kind of floated around, it really reminded me, for some reason, I couldn't get Sade out of my head. I was thinking of her and the way that she sings. And the music, obviously two different worlds in one sense, but somehow melodically and atmospherically, there was something that I was catching there that reminded me of her a little bit, which, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I really like the instrumentals in here as well. Like, for example, in the chorus, I love how the toms are used with a little extra electronic just to push it out there. Kind of like if you were to watch a band maybe like this or so live, how sometimes they'll give a certain tom an extra depth, an extra boom. So when the drummer hits it, it kind of creates that stadium boom, that big resounding one. And I like how they did something very similar here in Serious Lover. And the track has a lot of empty space to play with as well, which I think that kind of goes towards what I'm kind of mentioning of like this kind of cold, minimalist kind of sound that they have here, a minimalist pop electronic kind of sound. And in the spaces that are happening here, you have a lot of little bits of electronics that come in every once in a while. There's definitely an atmosphere that happens. And then there's an instrument that at first I was thinking was violin, but it very well may be saxophone that's played, or it has some sort of like layer on top of it that kind of gives it a more unique ambient almost kind of sound. Like it's slightly stretched out, and there's something about it. Let's see. Here you go. That's sax. Now that I'm listening to it. Has to be, right? But there's certain parts of it that make me think it's a violin. But I'm leaning towards sax, or at least something maybe adjacent. I don't know. Maybe I need to get the wax out of my ears. But I think that's a really cool way of breaking up the music at that point. Not that it was boring and monotonous, but it's just a really cool, to me, interesting break that comes in, leads in, it sings a certain kind of song, and then it exits right back out. And I think this is a really successful track. I think, if I'm being honest, from the band, I think that this is the best track we've heard from them so far. Not that we've heard like a ton, but I think this is easily my favorite. And this atmosphere is my favorite that I've heard from them. Strive for supremacy, strong out of the machine. Then see you disappear, You know your secret little body haunts for us among and around all town. No matter where you go, You're such a serious lover. Weight of the world on your shoulders. And as bringing you down, you're such a serious lover. Keep you weighing to the groan. Hold on. You strive for supremacy and careless infinity. To me, what's it gonna be? We lived and said we're free. Look at us now, baby. You stretch. Our mission is so complete. No matter where you go or we go, you're such a serious lover. I mean, to be honest, I think they're just a serious lover. And they're just discussing it. You're striving for supremacy and you're loving. Careless infinity. Careless in a way. And you're loving. I think the whole thing just comes down to being a serious lover. Oh, here you go. The oldest song on Graska. I think I wrote it in 2009. I always liked it, but I was young and conservative back then and didn't think a poppy keyboard tune fit in with what we were trying to do. But when I started rethinking the band and convincing myself I could do whatever I wanted, it was quickly thrown into the mix. It's one of those songs we played live in the band before recording. The tune was also tracked live in the studio, and Ask and I edited it completely. And then this track here, which for some reason I was thinking Icelandic is what this was, but they're from They're from Denmark. So it's going to be Danish. That's what I meant to say. So if we translate it, it says, it's raining circles on your path, reminds them of you. I against you saw someone else. All faces they melt away in. Now I against nothing hear the echo from you. And then this means the vases. Could this be the rain reminding them of the serious lover? You saw someone else, the faces melt away. I don't know. But it was a great listen, though. I can't say that. Let me know what you guys thought of it, of course, in the comments down below. Where's that button? There it is. Let me know what you guys thought of it in the comments down below. As always, I appreciate you watching. Thank you so much, Riku Flora, for the recommendation and for the suggestion, the support as well. Really appreciate that. This was a good listen. Like I said, I think that this is very easily the best track that I've heard from the band at this particular point. So hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much for being here. Come back tomorrow, and I will see you all then. Bye, guys.